Okay, friends, it looks like we're in business for our AI class today. And this is something I'm super excited to be sharing with you today. And I also got to be a product of the product. So I used AI to actually help with this presentation. So you're seeing what's actually working and not working, the capabilities. And I think the biggest thing here when we're looking at technology is to have fun. And that's why part of my emphasis is on financial freedom and joy, because without the money, sometimes it's hard to have joy, though even more bigger is if we don't have joy, the money's not really worth it. So pop a yes in the chat if you're excited to have more money, joy, and freedom. We're going for the trifecta. Perfect. And it's so fun to be with you all today. So definitely have fun with the chat and we'll go through and jump on in. So when we come across, oh, what happened to my share? That was not quite the button I meant to hit, apparently. I have two computers going on. Let me go back to my sharing. Okay, friends, you should be able to see that. Okay, awesome. So when we come into here and we're going to be diving into AI, I like to open all of my presentations this way. So if you've been with me before, congratulations for everyone for being here, especially you that are live. So more than our, money, sometimes we're investing time. And you're investing time to hang out with me right now. And it's my biggest pleasure and honor to serve you and also make sure you get the very best investment of your time today. So that is my goal with you, and putting those goals and intentions. I definitely feel us having that. The second thing, and also why I decided to start my presentation at 11, is to be able to have an 11 a.m. gratitude moment with you all. And so this has been the biggest thing for me in my business, is having more gratitude. And so this is something that I invite all of you to do. It doesn't need to be an 11:11. However, having more gratitude consciously in your experience is the biggest way to elevate your income and have more success and more joy on that journey. So if you want to be like me, we can set an alarm. I have reminders that go off at 11:11. It will actually buzz me live at 11:11, so we can all pop in at that moment what we're grateful for. Though even if it's a sticky note or writing on your hand, something to trigger you to have this conscious gratitude. And that will be, if you leave right now, that's all my message really needs to be. Have more gratitude and you will get more amazing results in your business. And I have lots of gifts and fun sprinkled out with you all for today, so that you will see that. And I also have done QR codes and links. So I want this to be very interactive. So sometimes, if there's something to scan, make sure you grab it. I'll also have an option for you all if you like the slideshow. I know for me, when I see things, I want to have those slides and go back to reference them, especially because I sometimes talk rather fast, or if it's technology, you can go back and rewatch. So that's something that you'll actually be able to have access to this slideshow. I'll put a link in there and you're welcome to grab that as well. So lots of fun for everybody. Okay, so when we talk about AI today, there's 3 keys, and I followed my mentors in saying, okay, 3, because if I'm giving people more than 3, it might feel a lot overwhelming. So that's where I wanted to be able to keep it simple and also show you how amazing these are. And the biggest thing is to have you take action in your business. If you go away from today and never do anything with AI, I kind of feel like I failed. So my biggest goal for everyone is to be able to have some AI in your business, have confidence with it, and really start to use it, even if it's just a fraction of it and playing around with it. I feel like you might fall in love with something pretty awesome. So that's what we're going to be doing today. And so before we buckle in and get started, make sure that you're prepared. And I'm looking around. Oh, yes, I've got my water. So make sure you have water, something to take notes with. I encourage screenshotting. So that's also a thing that you can do. Snap a photo of things that you like. And so aspects. And our very first note is that VA VAK over there. Does anybody know? Maybe some of you have been with me before. What does our VAK stand for? Does anyone know? We'll see in the chat. Okay. So I'll give you a clue. The V stands for vision. And so it's our visual learning styles. So great guess. We've got some clever ideas, and we are going to talk about virtual assistants today. Though when it comes to taking notes and paying attention and making sure this is an investment well spent for your time, having you engaged makes it better for you. It also makes it more fun for me and everyone else. So, there we go. We've got it. Visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. So engaging your eyes. So that's why I'll use some slides and put those on there. Also auditory, you're listening to me, and that's where going back on replays can be helpful. I also like to even speed up replays so I can have the information a second time, though not have to invest so much of my time. So that's a hint in there. And then kinesthetic, that's when you're doing something. So the taking notes, or in our case, also popping things into the chat, is a way to keep you engaged. And by doing that, you will retain so much more. It makes it, once again, a better investment of your time, because you're actually going to remember what I'm sharing and then have some fun with it. Okay. And I get a lot of questions on, are you recording this and all of this? So what I do is I put it into my Facebook group. So for a lot of you are already members, so I love you all, and it's a lot of fun in there. And for any of you that aren't members, here's the link to it. And I think some of my wing women might have be able to drop that in the chat too. And so this way, there's also a QR code. So if you're not in the group, this is where the replays will be. And I'm also holding a bonus training for you all tomorrow. I'm like, everyone's gather together. So I'm going to stream live into my Facebook group tomorrow. And then it's a pretty fun thing that I used actually with an expert that I did some training with last month to really grow my group. And what works really well is we stream live into the group, and anybody who's live with me that wants to come backstage, I'll have a behind the scenes link in there when I stream, and then you can come backstage and ask questions. So makes it really fun. And if you're not able to catch us live, the replay will also be in that group too. So hope to see you all on the inside of the Financial Freedom and Joy group for entrepreneurs. Okay, so this is what the bonus training is tomorrow, which is one of my favorite topics, which is passive income. And funny enough, Facebook banned me from advertising because I used the word passive income. I'm like, really? So this is where technology, and especially as we go into AI, there's things that are out of our control. So cultivating that joy and that mindset to take you through in business, this is where I've gotten creative. So I can give the talk that I love to talk, and I'm not marketing it on Facebook. So this is where, if you all are interested to learn more about how we look at, and also the technology behind passive income in your business, that's where one of my true hearts are. And I would love to share that with you all. And we're going to be also looking at today ways in when we use AI, we can use this to supercharge our passive income, because instead of being stuck in content creation mode, we can use AI to supercharge the things that we're doing in our business, and we get more effortless sales. So pop a yes in the chat if you would love more passive income in your business. Oh, yes. And this AI is going to make it a so much more journey. Oh, and we're at 11, friends. Okay, so while we're chatting, let's pop what you're grateful for in that chat, and we can just read it out and take that gratitude moment. And I'm so grateful for all of you. We have 24 friends with us right now, and I'm just, giving me a hug, you a hug. And thank you for being there and sharing that with me. So we've got people are grateful for their support and friends. We've got sunshine. That is something wonderful to be grateful for. Grateful for beautiful days. Oh, grateful for me. Thank you. I'm grateful for you too, Michelle. So I'm so grateful. Oh, Chris says to be here with all of you. And I am so grateful for that too. And learning, says Annie. Oh my gosh. Julie says her plumber was able to come ASAP when she had water on the laundry floor. That's a huge one. You know, being able to, when life smacks us, to be able to go to that gratitude moments, That's why I emphasize gratitude. So awesome real life example there, friend. Okay. So once again, the if you need the link to the Facebook group, there it is. Okay, so lots of business owners like you all love FFJ, so I'm so blessed and excited to be sharing with you all. And what I love about it is I share universal principles. It really doesn't matter what business you're in. You can be a tattoo shop, you can be a life coach, you can be a restaurant. All of these work for people in business, and that's what I'm going to be sharing with you when we go into more on the AI. And this stuff really works. So some of my students' current wins, and I see some of my students out here in my grad students. So this is a list and it's so diverse. So whatever you're looking to create, this is what you all can do too. And so we're going to be emphasizing and also celebrating, and you can pop a yes in the chat if you would love some of these results, because that's what, as we upgrade ourselves and look at where we can use technology and things become a lot easier and effortless, and that's where we can sustain them. Because if you're like me, I've been very much relating to a lot of these things where you're overwhelmed. And a huge block for me specifically was around content creation. In my head, it's great. I know what I want to say. I know how I want to get my message out. And then I have to actually execute and write it. And then my perfectionism comes in there and it doesn't look good enough. Oh, I didn't bold that link right. I delegated it and my assistant didn't change the subject line. So there's so many different things, and that's where there's not about this perfection of the journey. And when we use AI, it's not going to completely solve all your problems. However, what it will do is, for me, it gives me a jump up. And it helps take some of that overwhelm off. And, instead of going to a blank paper, I can also be able to have a lot more joy in editing and even being like, oh, that AI wasn't as good, though it helps my juices be flowing so that I can make it better. So what we're going to look a lot in today for content generating, just because that's personally where I've found that I need support, and other people, it seems like they relate. And you can pop a yes in the chat if you've ever struggled with the content side and getting your message out there. So that's where I feel like AI can really do the best service for us. And it's free, or a lot of free resources. So, I'm getting a lot of yeses in the chat. And thank you for you all for participating, because it makes it more fun for you, and then you retain more. And that's what I hold for you, is that if it's possible for me, if it's possible for my students, for others, anyone in this world, you all can do it. And it's really that mindset and intention. And although we talk about the tech side, and I emphasize that tech doesn't solve the problems, it's the person who's using the tech. And that's what I hold for you all, that we're doing it together. And I'm going to show you how you can really use the AI to do great. So even if it looks daunting, and I'm actually going to show you some fun things with AI on this image, because this image is actually it was a copyrighted image. And so I used a screenshot of it, honestly, rather than paying for it. So if you've ever done stuff like that, you really liked an image and you're like, do I really want to spend $20 for this image for my presentation? So I really am excited for what AI is going to do to be able to create images for us. It's not quite there yet. And as you're going to see, I took some hysterical screenshots of it attempting to recreate this image for me. Though this is where technology is going. And so even if it does feel really daunting, we're going to break it down and make it. So if you can send an email, or if you could make like a social media post, you're going to see how AI can be that simple and straightforward, and actually make making those emails and social media posts even easier, because they're helping you write what you're going to put in there. Okay. So the first thing, before we even really dive into it, is we're talking about AI generated content. So where does the copyright come in? And so that's what I wanted to address first of all, is let you all know that AI is available for you and there's no copyright with it. Like I started to touch on the images. That's what really intrigued me. The flip side of it, and I've done a lot of research, I'm not able to find out how they know, though apparently Google and other sites will be able to tell if your stuff is AI generated. So there's a flip side that they'll know, and that might hurt your rankings. However, there's no copyright infringements. And so the US law at least has ruled that because it is not created by a human, there's no copyright about it. Ooh, yay. And we've got some more stuff in comments. And I love experts on things. So if you know something and you know something more than me, please pop it in the chat. That's how we learn. You know, like especially with this Chat GPT, it's so fresh and new. The latest update just came out on Tuesday. So everyone's learning and sharing, and that's the fun part about the collaboration. I have so many people share tidbits and they stick, and then I share it with you all. And so that's how, as we're learning and going forward, it's not perfect. These are some different things that you can check out, though know that what you're doing is legal to be able to use and generate, especially like on social media and stuff like that, and in your own emails. That's not going to be hurting the algorithm at all. So, oh, let's see. We've got a good juicy thing. What do we have? Oh, yes. Good point. Tony said is that you also are not able to add a copyright if you generate it with AI. So the flip side of that. So thank you for pointing that out. So, yeps. Okay. So now that you understand how that works, these stats are incredible. And it's why I wanted to do a talk on AI, because it's so cutting edge. And so for you, there's so much AI going on, though I thought the interesting stat here is that most people don't realize that they're really partaking in AI, and they're thinking that it's this outside thing and a little scared to get into it. And that's why I really like to break it down and make it like, oh, this is simple, it's easy, and you can do it too. And so this is where the trend is going. And that's why I feel like taking a look at this is going to help you and your business stay on track, because the top people, the top companies where things are moving is AI. So I would highly advise catching that, especially adopting things early is going to set you up for a whole lot more joy and money along the way by adopting. So there's a lot of good stuff going into AI. So here's a way that probably almost all of you have a smartphone and have ever used a voice command. You can pop a yes in the chat if you've ever. My favorite one is set an alarm for such and such a time, or set a reminder, or that logging in, that Face ID is using AI technology. So things like that, if you've ever used like a voice text kind of things, these are what is pulling AI. It's just getting known, especially for this thing called Chat GPT. So it's the content side or the user side of AI is what's exploding. The technology has been there and it's running a whole lot of your systems. And if you have an Alexa, or I have I call it a Hey Google. And so those things that are picking up on your voice command and able to process tasks, you're already using AI. So now you just get to put it in a really nice form to help you out even more in your business. Okay. So when we go into our first key, which is about capabilities and features and fluency, we're going to go in and I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like. And I'm also going to encourage you, if you don't have an AI account already, and like that Chat GPT, is we're going to open it and we're going to play in it together so that you can do that too. And so here's one thing, and I really like the look of this one. This is actually my email CRM, Ontraport. And so they've started to incorporate in their emails, you can click a AI copywriter help. So this is a nice way to, and it kind of explains it even nicer than Chat GPT, which is why I use that screenshot, is that you can see the example, right? 5 bullets of marketing copy about the benefits of attending my webinar on Tuesday about bigger cabbages in this case. And so when you give the prompt, it writes the whole email. And if you don't like it, you can tell them to rewrite, or you can copy paste things out of it. So having it actually in my CRM where I sit down to write emails is really awesome. And that is actually a feature that Google and Gmail just announced on Tuesday. And we're going to go into this in a little bit about the rivals here in AI, though Google is rivaling Microsoft. I'm sure you've heard of both of those companies, and they've been kind of rivals for a while. Well, now it's in the AI wars. And so now that the Chat GPT, which is owned by Microsoft, is doing well, Google is saying, hey, you're going to be able to do all this stuff in Google products. So it's really cool. So this capability where there's a copywriter in my email is going to be coming out into Gmail really soon and things like that. So not sure if they're going to charge for it. Usually, like, the prediction is they'll do things for free because that's how they take over and have people love them. And it's going to be embedded in their spreadsheets and their slides and all sorts of amazing things. And so this is what the Chat GPT looks like. And then I actually left right there. Do you see this little TW down there? I actually have this little bot that's part of my social media posting thing. It's like a little AI called Tailwind. And so Tailwind also just said, hey, do you want to be able to do AI generation on any web page that you go to? So it's kind of annoying because it floats around there, though. This is another way that AI is at my fingertips wherever I am. I just have to click a button, and anything that I want written, it's going to do that for me. With Chat GPT, you log into a website and then you use it. So yep, Chat GPT is so fun. And then, so here's, I touched a little bit about this war. So if I'm doing my full service to you, teaching you about AI, I want to show you a little bit of the backstory behind the scenes. So this OpenAI company is what owns Chat GPT. Microsoft has put billions of dollars into it. And now Bing, which is their rival of Google, is now being able to use not just ChatGPT, they just released the latest update, and it's one of the few companies out there that's actually being able to use the new update of GPT in Bing. Google senses that, and also has this thing called Bard. And it's not fully utilized, like available yet, though it's the same idea where now they're having, so instead of doing what we're accustomed to on a Google search, what the direction is that these big companies are pushing us to is to actually start to look at search engines as being a virtual assistant or AI. So you're asking a question to the search engine, and instead of getting all these different website results that you have to pull through and look, you use AI as the feedback in that. So it's a big about trusting reliability and things like that. So that's, the direction. It's not there yet, though, just so you see the behind the scenes. And as you hear these things, just realize the bigger thing is it's Microsoft and Google and who's going to win, who's going to capture, because Google dominates so much of search engines. Microsoft has seen the opportunity to be able to take their Bing and their GPT-4 and really go big with it. The Chat GPT broke world records for the most software user signups in the shortest amount of time. It's only been out for 4 months. It has millions and millions of users. It's at max capacity a lot. So it's just showing you something to pay attention to. Okay. So thinking about AI in these terms, not like we're hiring software companies, and there's so many amazing AI software companies out there. I could do a whole nother presentation on that. So I'm like, okay, not hiring companies. What is it you're doing for yourself and your business? And that's what my talk is about today, is we're using it as a virtual assistant for your business. Though the key thing to keep in mind is it's like you're hiring a new VA every single time, which that's kind of annoying. So that's just what it is you're accessing this huge database, though realize it's like you're calling customer support center, and they're very wise, though you're talking to a new person each time. So when you go in with that, that's also going to help you when it comes to your prompts, because the prompts are what is going to, so I like to set the tone and my expectations before I'm getting started. And that's something I've learned. Instead of just saying, hey, write me a paragraph about such and such, I've developed a little paragraph as an intro. And so it lets them know who I am. I learned that the hard way because they talked about my class and never put my name in there. So now if I let the AI know who I am, also how I like them to talk. So in this case, I said that I wanted them to use positive, friendly, and professional. And so when they wrote me back, they did a fantastic job with that. AI is also trained to be a very polite assistant. There's been a lot of people on the dark side of ChatGPT attempting to get, malicious things or, not so good content. And so that's a part of the new release in GPT-4 is to really limit that as well. So it's a very nice and a good aspect of society. And so I like to use my pleases and thank yous and awesomes like I'm talking to my real VAs. And I do like the results that I get. And I actually took a bunch of screenshots for you. So you can play yourself. You can also check out how I've played and just get ideas of the capability. And by setting my language tone up at the beginning, I'm a lot happier with the results and I don't have to keep revising it or telling them to reword things. Cool. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Yeah, someone has experience with conversations that are slightly alarming. So yeah, it can be that way too. So hopefully with the new updates and that's where everything's improving, that it'll be a very harmonious way that we work in our business. And so there's a lot of juicy stuff about the prompts. You can actually, and I'm going to put some resources in there if you want to go deeper dive into really understanding prompts, because that's a whole other webinar. I've been on other webinars where they just talk about prompts. People are now selling prompt ideas. So think about that. You could even tell ChatGPT, can you write me some good prompts for such and such? And then you can copy paste that list and then sell it for passive income. So these are different ways that you can do it. So thinking about the prompts are going to help you get better results. Okay, so I liked the idea of making it kind of a jumbly mess, because that's honestly where it's at. There's so many different ideas, and I'm sure that you all can also pop some in the chat of ideas that you've either known or heard of ways to do AI. And I've kind of focused more for our business sense on the content side, though pop anything that it's capable of just for inspiration. Like there's so many different things that AI can do. The biggest thing to keep in mind is that the database itself is only current through September of 2021. And it also, I saw on one of, like the expert, who likes to go play with all the stuff as soon as it comes out, they immediately tested to see if the new update was self-aware, and it's not. So the new update is also still in September 21, and it doesn't know that it's been updated. So kind of funny. So just some fun ideas, and you can pop stuff in the chat if you have it. Though it's just amazing. Ooh, and we're going to go through those creating images. Whoop, whoop. One of the things I was really excited about, here's the new updates that just happened as of this week. To keep in mind that as of right now, it is not free to access the updates. The only way that a user can do it is through ChatGPT Plus. And it's $20 a month. And they're also apparently, especially this week, they've been kind of at max capacity. So for myself personally, I haven't felt the need to jump on the brand new stuff. I got all of the info. I've seen live demos of somebody playing with it, and I'm like, cool. And I'm good with the free version right now. And I have it in my, Ontraport, and it works great. So this is where I'm bringing news and info to you. And as it starts to stop being so being so restrictive, and paying $20 a month, you can actually really have access to it, then I feel like it'll be worth it. They might also make it more than $20 a month by then. Though this is where only a very few select companies are able to access the new update yet, though it lets you know the capability of where this is going. The thing at the bottom just blew my mind. It scored well on the SAT, the bar exam, and the GRE. No studying. Like, this is the knowledge that's in this database. So it's like, holy smokes, it can figure out test questions. Like, it can pass things. So it's like, you're not dealing with something stupid or simple or limited. It's really, once again, about those prompts. What are you asking it to do? An amazing demo I saw. Somebody hand wrote script about website coding, like the little brackets and the HTML. They snapped a photo of it. The GPT-4 was able to construct and build the website with the coding that came off of that napkin. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So the neat thing too that it's really emphasizing and coming out is that it can use not just text cues. You can use images. And then soon you're going to be able to use audios and videos. So you could essentially ask the AI to watch a video, or, well, however it would watch, process a video, and then be able to pull out info. Or you could say, hey, like for me, this is my class, pull out like the best quotes that I have or something like that. So that's where this thing is going, which is so super cool. And it's also expanded into a lot of different languages. The old one was only really primarily in English. So just some good stuff to where things are going. Also about the capacity. The free version only lets you get about 3,000 words. You can always prompt it to keep talking and stuff. The new one is 25,000 words. So it can write huge things. Like, I couldn't even imagine being like an English teacher or something in this time with students, and like, oh my gosh, like student essays, like, and they could probably say, write it in the tone of a middle school student with spelling errors. So there's a lot to do with this stuff. Okay, so are you all ready to play and get some AI in there? So here's the different websites. So OpenAI is the primary one. So it's about going to open your login account on the open.ai. And then it's a free account, though they do want you to verifying it using a real cell phone number. I did use my Google Voice number and it detected that and it wouldn't go through. So be prepared. And you can take some time right now. This is an action-taking webinar. So if you actually open it, you'll get a whole lot more results than just watching. Though this is where we can play around. So the Chat GPT, hopefully, if you're opening it right now, it's not at max capacity. If you pay, then you always have access. So that's one of their caveats with that. The other thing too, is I have a workaround. So if the Chat GPT itself is full, you can go to what they call the playground or the back office, and you can still have access. So those are some good ones. And once again, I will have this slideshow that you can download. So you'll have these links easily too. Though there you all go, is just go to open.ai and start opening your account, and you can kind of multitask while we're through here too. And then the open.ai/images are where you can start to play with images. And I'll show you some of the screenshots. It's hysterical. So their image capabilities. I've played around on different sites, and I have some references for alternative ones. I haven't found one that I love, like that could use, like make this robot image. This is from Canva. So I haven't found something that's quite stellar yet, though I know that the capability is going there. Okay, so for those of you logged into ChatGPT, give me a show of hands. Somebody's got they're logged in on your screens. Oh yeah. So you can start to play around with it. Oh, thank you for the love and feedback. So when you have it and you log in, I want to show you, especially if it's the first time that you're creating it, it lets you know right here, there's some examples. about the capabilities. Here it says train to decline inappropriate requests. So we'll see. And then the limitation as far as accuracy and things like that. So then when it maxes out or you have to re-log in, sometimes you see those little error messages. So don't be alarmed. That's why I also gave you alternatives. And then when you actually log in and sign up for the same time, it's going to go through those. So I just wanted to show you, it's like 3 little screens that come up and it tells you that it's research and data and all that good stuff. So you've seen that screen if you're a brand new user. And now when you're in there, this is where you can see just the price point. So you could sign up or not. I have not personally felt the need to do that, though that's where you see the options for that. And so here is some screenshots of just playing around, and I'll buzz things kind of quickly. You can be playing too. So that's where you can start playing around as you get ideas. So here's where the example of I didn't introduce myself. So in this example versus you're going to see the next example where I introduced myself. So in here, I literally said I'd like some help creating my description for my masterclass. I just thought it would be a blast and show you guys really how it works and how I use that for this presentation. So I'm pretty happy with the things, though I wanted to refocus it. So I wanted them to go shorter. And then I realized, oh, I need my things, time, energy, and money, so that they could put that kind of in there. And then, so it gave me a better one, though I kept needing to rewrite it. So I was like, oh, I don't say it's about simple and easy and things like that. So that's where I had to coach it along. So having that intro statement saves you in all of this back and forth. And then I got to a pretty good one. And so you can see that the AI gave me the discover how easy to use AI tools can automate tasks and stuff. And if you notice, that's exactly what I used and embedded in my emails and social media posts. I added my own flair, so it's not 100%. And I guess that's part of what makes me a little pouty with it. I'm like, it's not perfect. Though it got the ball rolling so well, and then I could turn it into things. And then what I repurposed is after I came up with my description, I was like, okay, this is pretty great. So I asked my virtual assistant, so human virtual assistant, if she could then take the content, put it into the AI to reword it, and then send it out the next day with a new image. Woo-hoo! And she did. So that's a really cool thing when you reword things and repurpose. It's been really fun. And you can see, like, I'm happy with the content. It's maybe not exactly how I would write it, though. You know what? It saved a whole lot of time. And then to let my assistant be able to reword it, that was stellar. So now I can have my VA be trained to do this kind of things as well. And when you put those in your systems, it's pretty awesome. Okay, so here we go. Is now you see the example when I gave my intro, and I showed you that a little bit earlier where it's, who I am and how I want them to write. So the responses I got here were so great, and I didn't need to do any time rewording. So I just said, hey, I'm giving my talk. What are ideas for my 3 keys? And so it generated the ideas for the 3 keys. And then that's where I had the idea. I wanted my 3 keys to start with the letter C. I don't know. I listened to my intuition. It told me, I was like, okay. So I asked AI. So it went through a lot of them, and I was kind of picking and choosing. So I asked them to keep generating more C's, and it kept going and going. And it was awesome. And I had so many different ones that then I could narrow down the 3 C's that I really liked and then pull some ideas from that. So I hope on your end too, you're playing around with the AI and starting to get ideas of where if you're giving a talk or you have a product description, a service description, anything like that, you can start to be utilizing. And I really liked her, this AI. She was very nice and she wished me luck on my talk. So I cultivated a nice friendly relationship there. And so then I went on to ask her about blogs and social media posts. And so since she already knows what's going on, she was able to have some really relevant titles, which are super awesome. Oh, Roberta, I know you're a podcaster, so maybe she can give you some podcast title ideas. And then we went into like, what are good keywords and what are hashtags? And so one, they're not going to find the trending kind of hashtags, though to find general ones was super helpful. And you can see I started asking about hashtags and things like that, and things I wouldn't necessarily have thought of. And they're just ideas. And you can always be like, I don't like those, give me new ones. And then I also was like, hey, how can it do the ABCs? I was thinking different ideas of like ABC, and instead of doing C's, I was thinking like that. Well, it surprised me, and it gave me this list A through Z of all sorts of different words that would correspond. And I was like, wow, that was way more than I expected. I just wanted an ABC. So above and beyond in the capabilities of it, which is really fun. And then now we're going to play around with some images. And so, are you all ready to laugh? You can pop a yes in the chat if you're ready to laugh, because these are like, holy smokes, they're pretty funny. So this is from what I normally do is a Google search, and I pull up images and I find my images. A lot of the times the images I like are stock photos, which then they would charge for. So if I just give a little photo credit, that's kind of, I'm not quite in alignment, though it works. I would like to do better, which is why I'm looking at the AI generated images. So I went to, oops, do we have we'll see if Rita can get in. Otherwise, I also have sessions. If anyone needs help, I'm more than happy to chat with you one-on-one and get some help with that. Let's see. So when I looked at the rock climber same cue on OpenAI, it didn't give me quite the vibe that I was looking for. I really wanted to be down at the bottom looking up. Google, you can see, did a pretty good job of capturing that essence. The OpenAI, not so much. Then when I started to really look into the images, I'm like, what the heck are these people? So I was like, oh my gosh, they were really creepy. So that's where I wouldn't recommend them right now. So, oh my gosh. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. So anywho, that's the capabilities. You can get more descriptive, though. It's also like the rabbit hole. I know that some mentors have said put a timer. If you go into Canva, you can get lost in Canva land with your little editing. Same thing in image land. I was like, oh my goodness, and like refining the words. And so I think that's where prompts come in and being more descriptive. The hack too is you can actually use ChatGPT to write you a description for the image sites. So those are pretty cool. Though, yeah, I wasn't overly impressed. So I'll be excited to see what GPT-4, see if they can do some better images. There's also other image sites out there, and I've compared. None of them right now, at least to me, for human related images are looking really good. They're all a little off. So, oh my gosh. I finally found something that was kind of decent, though I really wasn't a fan of looking straight up someone's bottom. So I was like, eh. So then I just, at that point, that's why I decided to stick with my original image and was like, I like it, and we'll figure it out. And it would just be a funny case example for you all. Okay, friends. So remember that this is a VA for your business and a free one. You don't have to spend money at it. So, and it will definitely be saving you a whole lot of time and money. Okay, friends. So this was the longest one. I wanted to get through the meat of everything with the capabilities and then also show you the walkthrough and the updates. I'm going to just share a little bit about myself. So, and that was the gift that I was talking to you. I have a few different gifts. So I'd like to say you would like to work with me and we can have some fun. So if you have questions or someone was mentioning that they weren't able to log into AI, I actually made some availability this weekend and a couple spots for today for these. So you can jump on, there's no charge, ask your tech questions. If you're like, oh my gosh, I have another question on anything like strategy, it's one per business through March. So if you've had them before, you can sign up for another one in March. And yeah, so they are totally up to you, especially if you want to look at how we can use AI or that passive income in your business. So those are some fun things with you. And I think one of my lovely wing women's might pop the link for you in the chat as well. Perfect. And so I want to be mindful of your timings and just share a little bit about me. So I'm Lauren, and I'm just so grateful for bringing the joy in. And, that little person that I was looking for joy. I went through a lot of not joy until I finally got to just, the more I be me, the more happier things are and the better life has turned out. So that's where originally it was my financial freedom journey and my branding was Lauren's financial freedom journey. I switched to the your because it's really about supporting you all. And that also supports my journey. And then really going with my Ren to be able to, oh my gosh, I get to finally be me. So I'm just so excited for that. And my background, I actually followed my dreams and my passions. And at 19, I started my first company. And I owned every type of animal that I had ever desired since childhood. And it was amazing and such a blessing. This business within 4 years was doing $500,000 every year in sales. This picture is in my living room of my dream house on a 2-acre ranch overlooking like Los Angeles, like amazing. And I wasn't happy. I'm like, holy smokes, I've done so much and I've created all this. I have everything that I wanted. Why? And so I remember I was sitting actually at a pool at my house, just bawling my eyes out. And it just wasn't working for me because I didn't have freedom. I had built myself into the business and I spent all my weekends with animals, with trainees, going to about 4 birthday parties on a Saturday and another 3 on a Sunday. And that was my life for years. So if you relate to wanting freedom and not knowing how, you can definitely pop a yes in there. And that's what I was just committed to. Even though I have everything I wanted, I need to find my joy. And that's what I really, really stretched for. And I didn't know what I was going to do. I just said, I want to be happy. And so from there, I actually got a whole lot of mentors. And I reread the things that inspired me to start my business, though 6 years later, I hadn't spent any time on myself. I had solely worked in that business and just in that responding. And I grew it fantastically, though I didn't grow myself. And so then I flipped everything around and I invested the time to grow myself. And from there, I was able to sell my company. And then I started completely different businesses with a different business model of building myself out of it. And my second business, it made a lot of money and it didn't bring me joy. So the failure in that, okay, dang it. So then on to business 3 to finally capture how do I put money and joy together. And I'm so blessed to have balanced that equation and, get to do a whole lot of amazing stuff. And that business that I started is still around today. They're still the #1 animal entertainment company in Los Angeles. They've grown now to purchase their own ranch. We were renting it before when I was there. So they purchased it. They bought a camel and a zebra. They host weddings there. It was everything that we wanted, though it was not the life that I wanted. And so that was where honoring myself and, now I've created the legacy that it supports not only an entire family, it supports staff and employees and rescued animals and all the happy people having their weddings there. And so that's where I take the stand for all of us in our businesses, that it's so much more about putting you and your joy first, because then you get to serve the world and make that blessing. And I was able to do that in technology. Even having a petting zoo business, I was able to figure out a way to get myself out of all the tasks, and then was like, I don't need to be here anymore. And so it was better that I sold it. Though whether you want to sell or you just want your freedom, it's these universal aspects of technology in our business and now using the AI in our business to really get that freedom. And I'm so blessed to be able to live my mission. And when I first did my very first personal growth thing for 3 days, I got my mission downloaded to me. And I have to say, it's a blessing to be able to now go through since 2014 till now, living and knowing my mission. And I'm so grateful for that. And so now I'm like, okay, I've written books before, and I'm like, I need to get to put it into a signature book so that a lot of people all over the world can be able to do this too. So thank you all for being here in my FFJ community as well, because it allows me to be able to share with you. So I thank you all truly for that. So there we go. So this is one of my early photos. I actually hosted cash flow clubs. If any of you know cash flow, that would be so fun. And so this is the emphasis on financial freedom, and what we're looking for, and kind of leading into my talk about passive income, is how do we create the assets we're looking for that generate the income, rather than the trading our time for dollars. There's only 2 ways to make money: people at work or money at work. And if you look at the high income earners, they own the assets, the systems, or, actual, it could be, property or things like that. Though I love looking at, we own our business systems, and the business system generates the income. So that's what I'm so pleased to be able to do. And I can say, once you get out of the rat race, oh my gosh, you never want to go back. So I hold that all for you. Is being able, the biggest thing is when your passive income exceeds expenses, that's freedom. And you can do it on a really small scale. In this game, the janitor gets out of the rat race usually before the airline pilot, because that guy has a lot of expenses. So looking at everything that you're doing in your business, even if it's $1 here or there, you're starting to get this passive coming, and removing yourself from it allows it to grow bigger. And that's where, when we use like our AI as this amazing ninja tool, it's only going to help us go faster in our businesses. So I'm super excited with that. Okay, friends, because the goal here, and that's the bigger intention. Why are we using AI? Why are we using these tools? It's to make that leap. Is most people, this flow is they'll have the job, then they want to create their own business. Though they're self-employed, they work in their business. So I specialize in that leap between how you transform between owning the job and owning the system. And so that's where AI can be for every single person. You can jump to having your own system and team for free and start to really have that system working for you. So that's my amazing thing on passive. And one of my favorite testimonials this is actually, she was my coach in my coaching program, and she learned so much from me and my ideas. She's made over $9,000 from one conversation. So that's those 15-minute conversations we can have. Those ideas, she took action. She went and uploaded something onto her and created a little sub line of passive income, and it still makes her money. And I'm super excited. So that's where all of these different things, as we start to have those ideas, that's what you all can be doing. And that leads us to our second key, which is cash flow. And if you all need to hop off a little bit early, the replay is in my Facebook group. I'm like, okay, well, we'll see if we could go an hour. It seems like we're a little longer. So I respect your time. You all can bounce. I'm having a blast. So if you want to hang in, keep going, and no worries. And then these two, like I said, are not as big. Most of the good stuff is in the capabilities aspect with all those walkthroughs. So when we look at cash flow, the two things we're going to look at, especially in terms of AI, is our creativity and the consistency. Because for me, especially when I was mentioning like those content blocks, that's the creativity. Even thinking I need to make an email, that aspect of things. And so having the AI really, really helps. Suddenly I had that huge long list of C type keys that I would be able to choose from. And so that's where I totally love the creativity into it. And then the flip side, when we talk about consistency, is that's the really big factor to success. When we repeatedly show up, and you can pop a yes in the chat if you agree to not always showing up and you haven't been consistent. I've definitely been guilty of that. And so that's where using the AI and even having like my virtual assistant be able to do things and start to help me send more things out really, really, really helps with the consistency. So that is for you, friends. With that, here's some ideas about passive income. And so as we're starting to get creative here, you can start to have some little ahas or dings on where you can start to use AI in your business. And I like to venture, it can be for everything you're doing for active work and looking at where can you also have some passive income come in there as well. And so with these kind of things, it's the fun side of being creative. And then we are also a huge thing when we talk about money is considering and getting creative in your possibilities about how can you afford it. And a lot of people, it's very frustrating to hear when I talk about VAs and getting help. Most everyone's like, I can't afford it. So then their brain immediately shuts down and they're done. Or it's well, I need to be more successful in blah, blah, blah. I can just tell you from my own experience, having that help really, really, really helps in my business. And it's more like, how can I not afford to have help? And so when you start to reframe and have these creativity, it's not just in getting creative ideas for, what can we do for passive income? Or what kind of emails or what da da da. How can we also have our own brain afford it? You can ask AI, how are ways that I could come up with money or this or that? So just reframing and being open is definitely going to increase the cash flow in your company because it's the ones that change. It's the ones that evolve. Microsoft has been kind of going down for years, and then they saw an opportunity to invest in something that they took the risk that it was going to be cutting edge, though that's where that creativity is what can push them through. And, at this point, most likely, have some competition against Google, because I've never even cared about Bing. So maybe this is enough to make me even consider that sort of idea. So this is where the creativity really falls in. And then once again, like I touched about that consistency. So where can you be using AI in your systems? Like, the idea where I had my thing and I reworded it for my VA, and that's now a system that I can say, here's my email, run it through AI to reword it, and then send it out. Or let somebody scan it first to make sure it looks good. Though this is where we can build in our systems, and now we can be consistent and ideally not have it all fall on our own shoulders to actually execute that. And so then the convenience side of it is really awesome as well. And so this is where we look at where you're optimizing it, what can you do more of or better of, or that's where the prompts come in. How can you be more ninja and things? And then I'll also give you that list of resources with the website. So and I'm not going to dive into this wheel of business too much at all, though when we look at how businesses form, there's these three elements about our marketing, our sales, and then that behind the scene admin side. So we can be using AI in all of these different parts. And so, don't go overboard. You could start with one, or, hey, I'll do it in two different spots or something like that. So keep it simple, sisters. Though at the same time, you can definitely be getting a whole lot of amazingness going through it. And then the other thing too is to look at, could someone else do this for me? And now to start to be like, could AI help me with this? So starting to think of that, like I notice, people referred that my generation and stuff, we Google it. Like it doesn't even occur to me to sit there and wonder about something. I immediately go Google it if I have a question. And so this is where this AI is going to be going through, that people's instincts can be, you're immediately going to go ask AI, or even better, you're going to start noticing your tasks and your brain will immediately go, hey, I can do that task for me. Something like this. So that's where we can start to really build that up and be getting a lot more freedom in our time as well. And so let's see. And then the affordability side of it is awesome. I've showed you just free ways to do that, or even if you want to pay for the, higher versions of GPT, it's still $20 a month. You can have like Entreport as my CRM, $24 a month. You can send emails and it's embedded with AI. So there's different aspects there that you can really get going and have low cost or free tools. And also VAs, like they're overall, getting them around, under $10 an hour. You might have to babysit more, still finding somebody for under 15 an hour to do more critical things, or being able to use the AI so they can go faster and you're still replacing yourself. It's just different ways. That's where we go, how can I afford it? And there we go. So here is your resources and that gift that I told you about. So you can grab that. And I think one of my wing ladies will put it in the chat too, or you can scan it with that QR code. And the fun thing here too is that I'm always learning from you all. And I left my little, what should I add here? Because I'm sure, almost positive, one of you can share, even in the chat right now, just drop in, what are some other good AI type of websites, resources that I should add to this list? And so that's where it's a living document. And the neat thing too is this gift is I'm not giving you a static thing. You're actually getting the link to this presentation that I shared. So as soon as I update or add things, you'll be on that as well. So that's where I've put together these kind of ideas of AI to get you going. We started with those core ones, and Jasper's pretty well known. They started with free, and that's what I've noticed a lot of this, especially these AI companies, and looking at it's most likely this bubble. We're going to be having a lot more AI companies going. The flip side of it is now that Google's going free with it, that could also be affecting lots of businesses. So it's kind of, there's a lot of duality. There's tons of software companies right there. I see so many ads for things like that. So it's just, there's lots of good ones. So if there's things I need to know about, please make sure I do. And I'm always adding to things. And I will also add some playlists if you want to actually dive deeper into some experts in the industry, stuff like that. I can definitely, or I will be putting those in there for you too. So they'll be on your resource page. And I think we're just about at the end. And big reminder to you all, we're working on the business, not just in it. And that's that idea where I'm saying that leap between the self-employed mentality. It's really a mental leap, and to having that system and that business owner mentality. So this is where you can really start to be doing that. And I encourage that for all of you. So we're going to be taking those smart actions, and you get more time, money, and joy in your life with AI and with all the other tech tools that we get to have too. And personal development tech tools. Like there's some really amazing stuff, and the more peace I've had equals more joy, and the money just kind of comes along with it, which is really fun. So there we go. We've covered all the keys, friends. And there we go. So here's the thing for the session again. It would be so fun to chat with you all. Like I said, they're totally free. If you have questions on anything, please connect with me. So here is the link to do that. And then remember, we also have the bonus training tomorrow. So even if you're not able to attend live for the training, it'll be in the Facebook group. So just make sure that you get in that Facebook group right on there. And there's a link to that too. So that is all of that fun stuff. And if any of you have some questions right now, feel free to pipe in. And I'm so glad that you all are here. Okay. Hello, Sandy. I see that you have a question, my dear. It's so awesome to see you. I think you're muted. Let me unmute you. Oh, I think we clicked it at the same time. Sorry. Let's see.
Can you put the link to your Gumroad in the chat?
Yes.
Because when I scanned your QR code, it went to PayPal.
Oh my goodness, that's very weird. I don't even know if I've done one with that. Okay, let's see. For Gumroad, I should just be able to get that direct Gumroad link up if it's being fussy.
And it was an excellent presentation. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Sandy. It's always great having you with me. So Sandy is one of my grad students too.
It makes tech fun.
Yes, and you are such a rock star, from coming with not being quite sure on tech to you're running your own summits and shows, and you're just a rock star, Sandy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Of course, the link didn't want to quite come up in Gumroad. Like I swear I had it. Okay.
Ren, when I posted the links into the group, when I click on the links, they're not working. So I tried to put it in a different way, and I don't know if it's because of the words are in front of it that ruin it to work as a link. I don't know.
I had to do it a couple times in order to get it to work.
Gotcha. Sometimes, you know what, if it doesn't have the HTTP, maybe that's what fussed it. Let's just see if I have the bit.ly for Gumroad, if it works, if I do it with the HTTPS, and I'm gonna // it wants to keep
Your calendar was a little tricky too.
Really? Okay, well, good feedback, so thank you. And tech can only be as awesome as it wants to be.
Especially with this new moon energies. Thank you.
There it is. That looks right. Okay, I have to run. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I will be in touch. I'm going to schedule an appointment. I'm going to click on the link right now. Oh, Emily, your bit.ly link. Oh, it did work fine. Okay, well, I couldn't. Now I've got one. All right, bye. Thank you so much.
I'm so glad to see everyone. Thank you all. Cool. Anyone else have any last questions? Okay. Well, oh yes, hi Rita. It's so good to see you. Let's see. Let's see about muting.
There I am. I'm unmuted. It's good to see you too. And I've popped in and out of things that you've done, and you always are full of great information. And I just love that. And I adore Sandy, and she, like me, started off as a real neophyte, and she thinks the world of you. And she helped me. So go figure that. Anyhow, that's my question. I can do a million things, but tech scares the hell out of me. And I try real hard, but it doesn't always go the way I think it needs to go, even when I follow the rules. So my point is where do you begin? What's the best way to begin with all the things that we need to do to get our classes up and webinars and all that? The information's all there, but I need to be able to use technology to share. So where do you begin? What do you advise?
I say Google Docs and I like to say fluency, and I use that word a little bit in there. So it's that you feel good and solid moving around in things. And you might even be able to delegate it and have a VA. However, by you knowing what they're doing, it empowers you and you're sitting there, oh, instead of like, eek, and relying on somebody else.
Yep.
So that's where I feel like when we're talking about the different aspects and you're talking about putting on like a class sort of like this, correct?
Yeah, I've been doing them and I do private consulting, but I just am inching my way along and I want to be able to automate so much of it. And I have a Mac, so I never use Google Docs, rarely. And I've been using Mac forever, so I don't even know really Google
Well,
Docs.
I use
very
a
well.
Mac. I was a PC user for a long time, and I've been Mac for like 7-8 years now. And I
Uh-huh.
use Google Docs, Google Drive, all of the stuff
Do
on my
you?
Mac.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And I just
That's
use it
good to know.
cloud-based. At one point I installed like the Google software on the computers, didn't like that. So I
Mhm.
just use it specifically from the web browser. And the biggest thing that I absolutely love is I have all the apps on my iPhone. So it's like my little Google sheet right here.
Mhm.
I can look at my spreadsheets anytime. I can look at here's my slides. So if I have an idea about my slideshow, I can go tweak it sitting in my bed if I had an inspiration. Or from different computers. I had so many lovely ladies supporting me on this. They also had access to my Google Slides in case for some reason my internet went out or couldn't share. So I think part of it is, technology is fluid. It's not going to be perfect. So having, those like little setups around or banking backups, that's where that fluency comes in, that you have the idea and can use it and feel comfortable doing it.
That makes perfect sense. And I would love to talk to you more about that. I'll set up some time to do that. I would
That would
really,
just be fantastic. I would
yeah,
love
it'd be
to
nice
chat.
to get to know you and I very much appreciate all the information you put out today. Thanks.
That's my biggest pleasure. Well, I see fluency in your future. Very good.
Thank you.
It's about intentions first.
That's it. Thanks, Ren.
You're welcome. Let's see.
So Ren,
Yes, hi.
yeah, hi. So there's the OpenAI. I think you're basically saying you can play with any of those
Mhm.
as an access to get to it, and then just get in there and play around, just like you were saying about doing that with Google and not be afraid, but just see, because I 100% see that this is where I get stopped if like, I can't do, yeah. So that's really helpful. And thank you for making it so user friendly. I didn't even know how to, I didn't even know how to like, where to look. So just that you had that sheet of the different places to play with. And is it okay if I just do OpenAI and not work on the,
Yep. So the OpenAI is the good place to start, and then it
Mhm.
gives you access to things. It's kind of like when you have a Google account, you can use that. And also, by the way, I'm happy to get to everyone's questions. So I see your hands, we'll get there. And so, yeah, I think it's really about that comfortability to play with it, and definitely don't be like, feeling stressed and go in there. So I think you have a beautiful niche. You have definitely a professionalism, a friendliness. So when you set up your AI like that, where I kind of gave the intro, I would say it would probably be pretty similar with yours too. You want like empowering words and things like that. Is that when you set it up like that, you're going to get a whole lot more feedback that's aligned instead of being like, this isn't that great or that applicable.
okay, great. Thank you.
Oh.
Super great. I loved it.
Oh, I'm so glad. Well, thank you so much. I know you had to drive somewhere to get internet, so thank you for that effort. Okay, Patty, hello, my dear. Come on down.
Hey, how you in?
Oh, good. Good to
Lovely
see
to
you.
see you. You too. Thank
You're one of
you.
my star action takers from my fall class I remember we talked about your sales funnel and getting your products up, and boom, like next day she had her stuff listed.
Yes, but I've not been very good at the consistency bit, and which is why I want to ask about how, I mean, are they selling on Gumroad? Because I never sold anything, and I think I felt a little bit deflated. I shouldn't really, but
Well, Gumroad is the source for you to host it. That's where I use the Gumroad for my little free slides. No one's really gonna come across my listing. They're not, more for organic traffic. So it's on you putting it out or sending like those emails, or you do a master class, and then in the master class you say, here's the link to download my such and such. So it's a place for you for, free. You can host on Gumroad. If it's free, it won't cost you anything. If you want to charge for it, they take 10%, though there's not a fee to list with it. So it's really about you feeling confident promoting it. And maybe you could even use AI to help, the descriptions of your products and
Yeah.
things like that. I'm not sure what they look like, though. That's where you could use AI to, this is my
Yeah.
current description, can you make it better? Can you make it more compelling? Or, put some urgent call to action in there.
Because I actually signed up to it yesterday, AI, and I was blown away. I was very skeptical at first, and then I thought, let me give it a go. And I thought, oh my gosh.
Oh, so awesome.
So I will be playing more. And it seems like everybody's just talking about it, and I don't know.
Cool. Well, you jumped right in, so you can say you're an early adopter of it. And in
Yes.
your experience, it wasn't that scary yesterday.
No. So I'm definitely going to do more, especially after coming here now and you're talking about it as well. It's like, when things keep popping up and it's like confirmation of, what, you could make life easy for yourself by doing A, B, C, D. So yeah.
Good, good.
Okay.
Well,
I absolutely love how clean. Sorry?
I was saying, don't give up. So,
Yeah.
I know it can be challenging and deflating if you're not making sales. So it's like, okay, it's not a magic wand. And then that's where you're seeing, consistency. So maybe putting some sprinkling of AI magic in there, and then having some consistency. Even putting out, it could help you with Facebook posts. You could say, here's my product description. Can you write me, 10 Facebook posts that would be compelling to sell this? Well, then you can copy paste those, put it into Facebook, schedule it out, and now you have all these posts that are there talking about your products.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Ren. And I love your slides. They're lovely and clean. How did you do those? Where did you do those on? Was it on Canva?
Yes. So actually, I have the blessing a long time ago, actually in August, I hired, Brandy, who is my $9,000 testimonial. So she did my branding and my logo and all that good jazz. And so she made me in Canva like these really great slides. She did the graphic design. Well, now I don't need to pay her, and she's happy about that too, because she's back in college. All I have to do is click duplicate, and now I can start to edit, put new words, and I have those really crisp things. And then my trick that I do, and this is also for Rita, is I use my Google Slides. So I make them pretty in Canva. I don't like to do my presentation in Canva. So I copy paste my slide and I pop it over into Google Slides from Canva. So now I run it where I feel comfortable. That's the fluency. And I can see it, I can share it and download it as a PDF, whatever. And then it looks pretty because it was designed in Canva. So that's how I put those two together.
Yes, they're lovely. Thank you.
Thank you.
I've scheduled a session with you, so I'll see you later.
Oh, awesome. Bye, sweetie.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other friends? It's so awesome to see you all. So we've got some very fun friends. Okay. Well, I think we are set, and you will have the replays. I think a lot of you all are in the Facebook group already. You can also ask me questions in there. I hope you got your sessions if you would like to chat about your businesses. So, those are so much fun. So I just love my joy, and I thank you all for coming because because that's what allows me to have so much fun sharing. Otherwise, well, I still have fun sharing to myself, though. It's better with other people. So awesome. Okay, friends. Well, love to you all. And I hope to see you at the encore tomorrow. If you know anybody that would also be interested, please invite them to my group. And I'll be going live in there. And then if anyone is live and wants to, I'll have the Zoom link so you can come backstage and actually ask questions and all that jazz. So yay. Okay. Any last words? Oh, there we go. Bye, friends. So great to see you. Awesome, Dr. Margarita and Lalaine. We got to hang out in person recently. So I've got so many friends on the call. So thank you all. Love to you. Bye.